am Tiffany Crenshaw. I am the artist and owner behind Animal House Photography and Tiffany Crenshaw Education. I specialize in family, lifestyle, and newborn photography, as well as branding photography for small business owners and educating mamas on how to run successful businesses while also being present for their families. I wanted to do a little quick course with you today on relationship based marketing. The title of this little mini course is The Art of Connection Relationship Based Marketing. And it's going to be rapid fire for you. There's a lot of stuff in here that I want to get through. And of course, we won't be able to dive deep into everything, but I really hope this gives you some ideas to take you into Q2 as we're entering quarter two for our businesses. So let's get started. Okay, so a little bit the things we're going to cover today. Of course, I kind of briefly introduced myself. I'll go into a little bit more detail here in a minute, but aside from that, I want to talk to you about the art of authentic marketing, the art of connection, of collaboration, the art of in-person events, the art of creativity, and the 3-6 principles. Like I said, we're going to go through so many things today, and I hope you get a lot out of it. A little bit about me. I jumped the gun and introduced myself a little too early, but that's okay. I told you what I do, but not really who I am. This here is my family. I am a proud mama of 3 young kiddos. I've got an 11-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a surprise baby boy who is 1.5. We call him the going out of business sale. We are here in Huntsville. We moved from South Carolina 5 years ago at the start of the pandemic. And one of the reasons that's super important for me is because we moved here March 1st of 2020, almost 5 years ago to the date. And when we moved here, I had to restart my business from the ground up and didn't know that a pandemic was looming around the corner. So I really had to dig deep and be creative and really work on ways to get myself out there, to market myself, to network, even while being isolated in home. And in that first year of being here, my business actually grew 3 times of what it was the previous year in South Carolina, not in a pandemic. I just have a lot of passion for really being able to build connections with people and being able to help inspire mamas to be able to do the same. So that's kind of a little bit about me. I told you what I photograph. This presentation will have a mix of some different branding images, but also just some images that I've taken because I figure if you're going to take a little business class, why not have some beautiful images to look through while you're going through it. Okay, the art of authentic marketing. So one of the things to keep in mind when you are marketing and when you are networking, and those are not exactly the same thing, but they do cross over in a lot of ways. And one of the things you need to remember is that you have to network and market in a way that feels true to who you are. There is not a one size fits all method of networking and marketing your business. Some people will tell you this is the way and Instagram is the way, or making really crazy over the top TikTok videos is the way. And while that will work for some people, it doesn't mean that it's the only way to do things. If it feels forced and feels fake to you, it will also feel fake to your audience. So you've got to be true and authentic to who you are. When you are trying to build connections in whatever industry you're in, and I know we're all coming from a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different type of businesses, there's a first impression, right? And we hear that over and over, like you make a good first impression, but really in our world that we live in, things move so fast and technology moves so quickly. So we really do have to stand out from the very, very beginning. One of the ways you can do that when you are trying to market to potential clients, right? And this can even go for other business owners that you're hoping to build relationship with. pick up the phone. And I know that's kind of like a scary thing in the world that we're living in. People don't like to get on the phone, and we're so, text based and email based. And while those are also very important, and I could write a whole class on email marketing, um, it is so important to pick up the phone. I can't tell you how many times I've had someone inquire about my photography services, and I've called them and they've been shocked. They've said, I've never had a photographer actually call me and listen to me and hear who I am and hear what I'm about. And it makes a huge impression and it sets you apart. Already, it raises the bar that you are in the business of customer service and relationships. So, if you're not in the habit of just making those phone calls, try and you might be pleasantly surprised. Again, like I said, don't try to market like someone you're not, okay? So if you're silly, if you're over the top, if you're fun, then be those things. If you're more quiet and reserved and you are more of an internal processor, you're an empath, you're someone that really likes to just listen, then lean into that. There isn't a right way, there isn't a wrong way, unless it's not who you are. So, when you are at an in person event or on the phone with somebody, it can be really hard to get started with knowing what to talk about and what do I say. And I'm at this event and I don't know anybody and I'm an introvert and I'm awkward. What am I going to say at this thing that I'm attending or on this phone call? So here's just some questions for you, things that you can ask. Asking other business owners, what inspired you to start in this career? Getting people to talk about their journey takes some of the pressure off of you having to know all the right words to say. Asking things like, what brings you the most joy in your career? I like to steer away from just, what do you do? That's so base level. Taking it deeper and actually asking questions that make people think and that make them slow down for a minute to take that breath and think, man, what does bring me joy in this job? What has inspired me to go down this path? This can also go for clients as well. What inspired you to reach out to me for this particular service? Why me? And get them talking and get them engaging. Asking things like, what's your perfect connection or collaboration when it comes to a client? So if you're at an event and you're meeting people, which you should be meeting people, asking people about what their perfect connection is, what their perfect client is, because you want to be someone that is known for referring other women, building other people up, being a girl's girl, right? So we want to be somebody that is trusted in our industries, that we are going to point people in a good path for what they're looking for. And maybe the service you're providing a client isn't what they need in this particular season, isn't what they're looking for, but you can have people in your back pocket that you can say, you know what? I don't really do this, but so and so does an excellent job. And I think they're actually looking for clients just like you. So getting to know people and asking them what type of clients they're looking for, and hopefully they will reciprocate that by asking you the same. How can I encourage you personally or professionally? So we all need encouragement, right? We all need encouragement, especially as moms that are working these full-time businesses. We need encouragement. And so asking people genuinely and genuinely caring about the answer, how can I encourage you personally or even professionally? There may be something so simple that they need that you're able to offer, and you've instantly built a connection in your business and one that's going to make a lasting impression. Okay, so a couple of things I want to share, little tips, things you can do today. On your phone, you can actually go on Instagram and you can download your profile via QR code to your phone. Now, if you go on your Instagram profile, you will see this pretty much right away, and it will give you the option on the dashboard to be able to go and download. I'm trying to pull mine up to show you guys right now so you can see what that looks like. Okay, I'm going to turn this around and see if you guys can, let's see if you can see. Okay, so when I'm going to an event, I have different lock screens, okay? So one of my lock screens, whenever I am going to an event, is that I put my QR code to my Instagram as my lock screen. The reason that I do this is that way when I'm at an event, there's no more passing out a million business cards that are going to end up in the trash, that people aren't going to know where they are when they go to look for them. It's right away, I'm pulling this out and saying, scan this, let's connect. Instant connection. Then the follow-up is just as important, right, as our introduction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back after that event, and as many people as I can that I connected with, I'm going to send them a video message. And I'm going to say, hey, this is Tiffany. It was so great chatting with you tonight. I loved getting to know about you and your business. I hope we can continue staying in each other's circles, encouraging each other, inspiring each other. Please reach out if I can do anything for you. It takes less than 1 minute, but the power of video should not be underestimated in your business. So go over to Instagram. That's something you can do now. Get your QR code as a lock screen so that you can start connecting with people whenever you're out and not having to fumble through with cards. Okay, the art of collaboration. This is not a solo sport, okay? Mompreneurship does not need to be a solo sport. We can do so much more when we do it together. So think to yourself, and this is something where you want to get pen and paper out or your phone to make a note, and think about who else serves the same audience that I do. Because for me, as a family photographer, there are other businesses out there, some of your businesses that hopefully you're watching this and you reach out to me and connect, because I may not even know yet, but there's so many other businesses that are serving the same audience as you. So for me, places like children's boutiques that sell the type of aesthetic and clothing that I guide my clients to wearing in sessions. It could be a doula, simple as a doula that I have made connection with because I do a lot of in-home newborn sessions, fresh 48 sessions, those type of things. So I want to have doulas that I'm closely connected with so that way I know we are in the same market, serving the same audience. How can we do that together? How can we cross-promote each other's businesses? One of the easiest ways, it's free, it's quick, it's simple, blogging. You can do a cross-blog promotion with another business that has blog as well, where they can be a guest on your blog, you can be a guest on their blog with backlinks to both of those websites so that people that are looking for their services are going to find you and that are looking for your services are also going to find them. And that's just one way. There are so many different ways to cross-promote each other and to collaborate. So really just start thinking. First, start with making your list, who this audience is, and then go from there with how might we partner and work together. Okay. The art of in-person events. So this picture was taken last year at a conference. It's called the Reset Conference. It's a conference for photographers, and this one was in Michigan. And I made so many amazing connections and friendships at this conference. I also went again just this past week to Reset and made so many other new connections and now have some podcasts that I might be invited to be on. I have some in-person speaking engagements that I'm working towards. And I wouldn't have had those opportunities had I not gotten out of my house and met people. And I know as moms that are working, our time is so limited. I fully get it. And so it may not be feasible for you to be out all the time, but if you can start just thinking about ways to show up more in your local community or even within your genre, if there are conferences that are in a different state that you can work on really getting out there, you would be surprised how much can come from that. Okay, what's your secret sauce and can you share it in person? So we all have something that sets us apart in our industry. For me, I would say that it's the power of connection that I capture through my images, my storytelling abilities. I love to photograph other families and other moms in their motherhood journey in the same way that I would want my children captured and documented. And it helps me, it kind of uniquely positions me to be able to create the art for others that I want for myself. So think about your business and your industry. What makes you stand out? What is it about you that people would be drawn to and that would make them want to hire you beyond just I sell X, Y, or Z? Okay. People aren't hiring you because you sell X, Y, or Z. There's something deeper. There's a bigger problem that you can solve for your clients on a heart level. And so spend some time really thinking about that thing that sets you apart. And then from there, really think about how could you share that thing in person. So I would like for you to make a list of 1 to 3 events that you can attend this quarter. Okay. So it's March. We're entering Q2, which is awesome. Let's sit down and think what are 1 to 3 events, depending on your schedule, that you can physically attend this quarter. When you're at this event, is there a free or low cost way that you can share or teach with others? So it may be as simple as going to an event where other moms are going to be present and you can spend some time with them. You can have a mix of play date and hang out, but also listening to their needs and seeing how you fit in. It may be a networking event, like Mompreneur offers and has. There's so many different in-person events that we can attend. But also, you can create your own in-person event. So thinking about, based on your industry, is there a free or low-cost class that you could teach or share with others? So for me, I just taught a class to other moms with cameras that don't have businesses but are wanting to learn how to use those cameras. So I did an in-person, it was called Mama's Lens, and I'll probably continue offering it at different points throughout the year, but it was just a class for beginners. I'm looking at using my studio that I'm currently in to start hosting some photographer meetups where I can do some little, shooting classes here or little marketing classes here, things that just really bring community and encourage togetherness. These don't have to cost a lot of money. You can choose for them to be free. You can choose for them to be at a really low rate, but something that positions you as an authority in your industry. When you teach a class or when you host something, it positions you as an authority. People look to you to know and to be an expert in your field. And so this is a great way to build new connections and to network with other people that you might not have been able to network with thus far. Okay, Magic Jar. I love Magic Jar. So I learned about Magic Jar on a podcast about a year ago, and it's been amazing for me personally in my business. So what Magic Jar is you have a jar. This can be like a physical jar, or if you are a digital person, I'm sure you can find a digital metaphorical jar somewhere. But in that jar, you are going to put every time you do X, Y, or Z thing. So for instance, I'm going to set a networking marketing goal. For me last year, it was that I wanted to spend 5 minutes a day, Monday through Friday, networking. And it was that simple. It was only 5 minutes. And so what that could have looked like was following a new account on Instagram in my local market and sending them a video message to say hello and introduce myself. It could look like reaching out to a local doula to see, can we set up coffee sometime? I'd love to sit with you and just hear how life and business are going for you. Any number of things. But for me, it was just 5 minutes a day because that felt attainable and reasonable. And it was the first thing I did when I opened my laptop to start working for the day was I did this little 5-minute networking. So I set that goal and then put something in the jar every time you do it. So like you could do a button in the jar every time you do that goal. And when you get to whatever amount you set, like maybe it's when you have consistently done this, each day that you set out to do this for 3 months, or maybe it's when you get to 100, it's a more finite number, whatever you want it to do. But then you're going to reward yourself. Once you've completed that goal consistently, you're going to reward yourself. Maybe it's with a nice coffee drink. If this is a larger goal, something that's requiring a lot more time and investment from you, maybe it's a massage. Maybe it's something a little bit bigger. Maybe it's something new for your business that you've been wanting to invest in, but you need a little motivation to be able to justify that, right? So it can look so many different ways for you, but the goal of this is consistency because businesses are built not on large gestures, but on consistent, tiny steps. It takes time, but it's these consistent, tiny steps. It's the showing up that is really going to move our businesses forward. Okay, the art of creativity. So You are a mom owning a business, which means you're a creative. Okay. I don't know if anyone has told you that, but you are. You are a creative. And it doesn't matter if your business is literally art, as in photography, or if your business is that you started a law firm. Like that's still in the creative industry because you are having to create for your clients. You're having to dream up and put into action these ideas that you have. So, leaning into your creativity is going to be huge in your networking and your marketing this year and going forward, really, right? So, I want to give you some ideas that for myself that, I'm considering or that have worked for me. And then I want you to really take time to brainstorm what might work for you. Okay, so what is a unique and fun way that you can market differently from what's already being done, right? Like there are things that are done on repeat over and over again. Everybody's doing them, but it's time for us to stand out. As moms, we are used to having to think outside the box. We're raising children, right? So they throw us curveballs all the time and we're having to pivot and we're having to change gears and directions. And it positions us to be super powered at this. So think outside the box. What's something that's not that you haven't seen done in your industry yet? Or maybe something you haven't seen done in the industry yet, like in Huntsville. Maybe it's something that you haven't even seen done in Huntsville. So think about that and think about, is there something you could do? Could you host a party? So one of the ideas that I've been toying around with is ways to host parties, kind of like your Pampered Chef parties and your doTERRA, whatever the different, I don't actually know because I don't buy a lot of those products, but thinking about parties like that and how I can make that work for photography. And so, things that aren't really being done right now, but that are creative and different and fun. People want to have fun. So thinking of ways that you can do that. Thinking about if there's a shop that you could co-host something with. Things are always easier when we do them together. When we have a partner, it's just so much easier to pull something off. So, is there somebody that you could partner with, maybe in your same industry, but honestly could also be someone in a different industry, again, that serves the same clientele? Is there someone you could partner with to co-host an event or co-host a combined masterclass? Even with branding, as I was telling you earlier, I have a branding and headshot event coming up, and I love offering branding for clients. So even hosting a masterclass that talks about the power of branding and how to show up in your branding in a way that translates and converts. So there are things that I could do to put myself out there in front of newer audiences that maybe aren't familiar with me or my services in a way that's not really being done. Maybe a free webinar. Maybe there's something you could teach similar to this that you could do a 1 hour webinar on it. Maybe it's free of charge, but just something to where, again, you're building those connections and people are able to start seeing you and seeing your face and falling in love with your brand. Okay. The last thing I want to end with, guys, 3-6 principle. This is the principle of sticking something new out for 3 to 6 months. When we pivot in our marketing or we're trying some new things with networking, it is so easy to feel like this isn't working. I'm not seeing results. I'm not getting new leads. I'm not getting new conversions, new sales. And we jump ship really quickly. And research shows that it can take anywhere from 3 to 6 months for something to stick. Okay, so let that sink in. 3 to 6 months. That's half a year potentially. So I want you to make a list of things that you want to try, networking events you want to attend, things you want to host, ways you can collaborate. But I want you to stick it out for 3 to 6 months and give it time to grow, give it time to blossom. It may be slow going. Some of these are long game strategies. These are not all do this today and make a sale tomorrow. But I promise you, when you start building connections and relationships in your business, you are going to see that translate into sales and into conversions. It's how I built this business here in Huntsville in a pandemic from my laptop. It was showing up, putting my face on YouTube videos and teaching moms how to take pictures of their kids while they were stuck at home. It's it's making Zoom meetings, when you can't go anywhere else and say, let's meet for virtual coffee. There are ways, and it's not overnight, but it can happen. I hope this was helpful. I hope you walk away with at least one thing that you can try tomorrow and that it propels your business. Um, I would love to hear from you if there's something that resonated with you. Again, I'm Tiffany at Animal House Photography. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. You can visit my website and shoot me an email, animalhousephotography@gmail.com. I would love to connect with more of you. Like I said, I've got 3 littles of my own. And so life is busy. And of course, none of us are able to do as much as we want, but just know that I am here. My DMs are always open. Would love to hear from you if this is something you want to dive further into. Thank you guys so much. And I can't wait to see how you grow this year.